Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I wanted to take this opportunity at the end of the webinar to talk to an existing customer who has recently implemented some of these AV solutions and get their take on it and figure out how the process went for them and what the end result was. So today I have with me John Bowers, the CEO of Thompson Burton, and Skye, the Director of Operation. They're a Middle Tennessee full-service law firm. And John, you guys were expanding your offices, right? So tell me a little bit about how you came to know that we offer these services and what the project was and how we helped out.
Yeah. So at a previous employer, I had worked with R.J. Young on a variety of things. Copiers, sure, but learned that there was a lot more of a full service suite of products that we could have R.J. Young's help with. And so when we decided to build out our Nashville office in Midtown, we decided that we also wanted to have a conference center. We knew obviously Nashville is a market that we would continue to expand in. And so it made sense not only for the clients, but just for the firm's footprint to center a lot of conference and employee type meetings in Nashville. And so we tripled the floor space that we had in 2022, 2 years after the pandemic, when many employers and firms were scaling back. And so we, as we continued through the build out, we realized we needed to have an AV solution. And I had maintained contact with a number of folks here at R.J. Young, and Harris Deschamps had given me a tour, and that was when I got to play around a little bit with the big touch screen TV, which is great, and I didn't break anything. And so I immediately thought, well, you know what, let's, we had already decided we were going to use R.J. Young for copiers, and we decided, let's see what they can do on the AV front. And that's when I got introduced to you, Destin. And honestly, I didn't care what it was. I just needed something that we could use in depositions, that we could, do employee type meetings through. We had needs both in small and mid-sized conference rooms, as well as a Zoom room, our first ever Zoom room. And most importantly, our big conference room that seats 22 people. And so I knew that we might have, less solutions that we needed to identify for those other rooms, but for the big one, I knew that was going to be a bear. And so when you came out and was like, hey, you got to see it while it was still in the process of being built. As soon as we had the walls up, I don't even think we had run the electrical yet. When I got you to come out and say, this is what we need here, this is where we need a data port, this is where we could use this sort of thing, and pulled you in on the big 30-foot long conference table that we've got and the electrical that was running through that. The long and short of it is we started demo in August, mid-August of 2022. And I am proud to say we completed the build out in December of 2022 with a great contractor, and that's a whole different story. But the key was the AV for the conference center to make it functional. And so at this point, we've got really fancy and flashy and a little complicated AV in the big conference room, because It's not a rectangle. It's got curved walls and glass on the other side, as well as kind of a simple monitor type AV setup in the smaller conference rooms, and a plug and play solution in the Zoom room. And we have a number of lawyers who just love to be able to kind of show off for their clients. One of our partners says that she's a magician to her clients while she's doing mediations, because she can just show everything that they need to on the screen as they're talking through it. If that can work for us and our lawyers, then most people should be able to pull it off.
Yeah. So you're actually, I've had a great time getting to know you guys, and your style of job is one of my favorites, right? So when I met you and Skye, it was, we've kind of got a blank canvas. Like we're remodeling the office. It's down to concrete. We're trying to figure out, from an aesthetic standpoint, how do I present myself the best to the public and internally? And then also, this needs to work with what we've designed in here, because you guys, your office is gorgeous, right? So you spent a lot of time and effort getting that place to look as good as it could, and then you needed something to supplement that for the audiovisual portion. So I'm really glad with that summary, because it really kind of tied in everything from, we need to be able to know how to use it, but it needs to fit in our space, and it needs to look good, and it needs to be functional. So it was kind of the ideal candidate for a job to represent to everyone else, because it's exactly what a lot of customers go through with. I don't even know where to start necessarily. I've got this blank canvas, or I've got something that's been here forever that we need to tear out and redo. How do I enhance that experience? And how do I get it up to speed with the current times? So.
And I think it's important to know where your boundary lines are, and when you don't know, be hands off and get the right people. That's a better team with real specialized knowledge is far better than a single generalist. That's a lesson that people learn the hard way sometimes.
Yeah.
How many times have you had to come in and fix somebody's issues that they so proudly designed and wired and all the rest of it? I'm sure you guys get in that position a lot.
Yes. Well, and actually, it's a perfect segue. So, Skye, you are the person that is making this stuff work day to day. So, if somebody's got a problem, they're coming to you and saying, hey, I need help with this. So, tell me a little bit about how you've experienced, and just to be completely honest here, we've had a few hiccups, right? It's technology. So, we had a few items that got shipped in that were bad from the factory. We had a couple cables that need to be replaced. And then just as you move into your space and stuff gets moved around and jostled, there is some follow-up to that, right? So I think a good part of the explanation of an experience is to say, yeah, the purchase of it was neat, the design was neat. How are you guys using it day to day? What's the experience like? And if there is an issue, how is that handled? So could you fill me in a little bit about that?
Well, we aren't technology professionals, so we do lean on you guys heavily. And I think with tech, it's kind of inevitable that there'll be an issue.
Sure.
But also, you guys are so great if we need to reach out right away and we have an issue or I don't know how to solve it. I've explained to you how we really have to simplify a lot of our, just for the everyday person to be able to function. I don't know how to word that. But just for the everyday person to be able to use the technology. So we've been really trying to work through simplifying some of that process, and you've been so great at getting back to me so fast if I'm in dire urgent need of help. And everything comes back really fast. So we've gotten it together. Hiccups, like I said, inevitable.
Yeah, I think it's important to pin on and just say, yes, there may be issues as things roll out, but what you're really looking for in a partner is somebody that will follow through with that and just say, I'm going to take care of you and make sure, using the RJ Young's logo, we're going to make it right? So as long as that make it right guarantee is followed through and somebody doesn't just sell you something and leave you out to dry, if there is an issue, if you have a question or problem, that's a lot of what we have spent time and effort and money building up in our company, is the ability to add those resources to a client and just make sure that they have that there when they need it. So
Oh, yeah.
I thank you for saying that. I'm glad.
And whether it's not even just the technology in the conference rooms, it's also our printers.
Yes.
And so it's kind of, a one-stop shop for you guys for help with all of our tech. So
Yeah.
it's
So
helpful.
if you have a problem with your AV, with your copiers or printers, any of the other stuff that we offer,
Yeah.
you're just calling.
We know
your
who to
main
go
rep.
to.
Yeah.
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 Excellent. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you sharing your experience with everyone, and I look forward to working with you more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks,
great.
Destin.
Thanks.
Thank you.